Hey friend, this is episode number 521 of the And So podcast with Taylor Bradford. Let's get to it. Boss Girl Creative presents And So with Taylor Bradford, business and life musings from a successful serial entrepreneur. Each week, you will hear Taylor spill the tea on all things business, life, relationships, health, and everything in between. But don't worry, each week also includes a business nugget that will help you stay on course. And now a throwback to 3-year-old Taylor who inspired all of this.
And so.
Hey, welcome to episode 521. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, this one's going to be short and sweet. I am crunched for time, but I have a lot to say in a very short amount of time. So we decided we are leaving for Colorado in the morning. We made this decision yesterday. Here we are, and now we're leaving in the morning. And it's been wild. Like, so much is going on, and we both just kind of need an escape and a break and change of scenery for a few days and then hit the ground running again next week. So yeah, it's a lot. My garden is growing in abundance, which is like beyond my wildest dreams. I have zucchini growing, squash, like I'm harvesting zucchini and squash and onions and okra and tomatoes and peppers. And I'm looking forward to all the other things. Oh, cucumbers. I'm looking forward to all the other things. I have pumpkins growing. I just saw my watermelon and cantaloupe plants have flowers. My corn is growing corn. Like, the silks have started to emerge, and the flowers, my zinnias, are in abundance, and so are my dahlias, the ones I went from seed. The ones from tubers are starting to emerge, and it's just a whole thing. Like, I am just blown away by what I've been able to do with basically no utilities, which is so crazy. So books, I am actually rereading a few of G.K. Parks' series, or one of her series, her Lexi Sarconi series. I'm rereading book 1 and book 2 because she just released book 3, and I didn't really remember all the things that I probably needed to remember in order for me to feel good about reading book 3. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does that. Now, if I'm like 10 or 12 deep into a series, I'm not going to go back and reread unless it's just been quite a bit of time since I last started this series, which I have been doing with Sue Grafton's Alphabet series. But anyways, so I'm rereading a few of G.K. Parks. I already made it through book 1, which was Burglary Blues, and I'm listening to Break-ins and Bouquets, which is book 2 in that series. And then I'm also listening to The Amalfi Curse. I'm about, I say 60% through, and then I haven't started anything in like tangible book form. Last week I said I wanted to start one of Lucy Score's latest books, but I haven't actually started. I've just been listening. So that is my book update. My house, oh my gosh, they started plumbing rough-in, and hopefully they will finish that tomorrow, because I think my next step for the house build is to do the beams in my foundation before they start pouring the concrete or setting the rebar or the post-tension cables. I honestly don't know what really is next besides beams. That's what they keep telling me. So that is my house update. I want to talk really quickly about my stats. So if you've been listening for like any time in the last almost 6 months, you've been hearing me talk about my compounding social media interest theory. And I've been sharing my stats every week. And I started tracking on January 27th, specifically YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So when I started tracking back on January 27th, my YouTube had 234 subscribers. Last week I was at 461. This week I'm at 476. So I gained another 15 subscribers in a week. On TikTok, I started at 139 followers. Last week I was at 928. I was really hoping I could break 1,000, and I did. I think it was this morning or late last night. I broke 1,000, so I'm at 1,004, which unlocks my ability to actually link to my website. So this whole time on TikTok, I've only had the ability to link to my YouTube, which is fine, but I really wanted to be able to link to my website, and that unlocked once I hit 1,000 followers. I started at 1,386 likes on TikTok. Last week I was at 10,571. Now I'm at 11,062. And then over on Instagram, I started tracking at 3,470. Last week I was at 3,578. And this week I'm at 3,585. And again, the growth is coming from trial reels. That is ultimately how I am gaining followers, because it's not coming out of my feed, even though I am getting people that aren't following me. They're actually watching my reels. They're just not converting like I am getting over on trial. So if you haven't tried out trial reels, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because it's just putting my content in front of whole new eyeballs, and 95% of them appear to be my ideal followers. So props to trial reels, truly props. So I want to talk about when things are hard in business, and like right now we are experiencing a very hard season, not only like time wise, but also like the amount of work that we have. And then the things that just pop in that you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I took care of this, and now I have to have an attorney. And we have had two instances. One is with my Tahoe, so that's a personal matter that now I have an attorney for. But also we had a general liability policy for one of our businesses, and we ended up being audited a couple years ago. And then we paid the extra money based on the audit, and then they decided to audit the year prior. And I was basically only in business for 10 months of the 12. Actually, I think it was more like 9 months of the 12. Anyways, I didn't even have a bank account open until December, middle of December. I didn't take any revenue until January. So 3.5 months, there was nothing. And so I gave them that information. They're like, no, that's not good enough. We have to have, something from your CPA, or we accept QuickBooks PDFs or whatever. And I'm like, wait, like you accepted all my documentation for the last audit. It's the same stuff. Like, I don't understand. So that was last July when we were battling that. And now it's resurfaced. They're trying again. They're saying they're starting a brand new audit. And it's like, no, you tried auditing me before. But like I said, we went round and round, and I finally said, if this isn't sufficient, please let me speak to your boss. And then nothing, crickets, until 2 weeks ago. Frustrating. So now we're back with our attorney, and it's like, as you grow and you push through the mud, like things start flying up into your face. I feel like sometimes when we are on our side-by-sides and we have mud kicking up, like it can sneak its way into through the doors or the open windows or whatever, and it like slaps you when you least expect it. And it's like, there are just parts of business that not many people talk about, and I'm here to pull back that curtain, because like there are things that we have to work through, or things that we have to do, and it's like, when am I going to catch a break? And as you get bigger, the more of that mud starts slinging in, and you're not always prepared for it. So I don't really have a good teaching moment outside of, you're going to get mud slung at some point in your business journey, and you're not always going to be prepared for it. But if you keep good data and you keep good records and you have everything in writing as you're moving through your business, it will save your butt 9 times out of 10, and maybe be a little bit harder on that 1 time out of 10. But if you can keep everything in writing, like that is the biggest thing that I can say as the takeaway. So with my Tahoe, I have a policy, right? You have an insurance policy if you drive a vehicle. It's required. I believe most states require at minimum liability coverage. And so you have this policy, you have this agreement, this contract with your insurance company, and they are bound by the contract, just like you are bound by the contract. And you are bound by paying your premium, and they are bound so that they hold up their end of the contract when you need them. And I already know what kind of games they play from the roofing side of things and water loss, but like to see it play out on the car side is wild. And I had this one real firecracker of a dude want to get me on the phone, and I was not having it. He had already basically played his cards with my husband on the phone and was just a real you-know-what. And I was like, hey, from this point forward, we're going to keep things in writing. I want to make sure we stay on the same page. So here are my questions. And the moment he got my email, he picked up the phone and tried to call me. And I immediately fired back an email. Hey, listen, I want you to respect. I want to keep this in writing. Can you please respond to my questions? And he just kept writing me. Well, it'd be easier just to tell you over the phone. Well, no, I need you to put this in writing. Like, please show me in my policy where it states you can do these things, because I'm only seeing it say these things, but you're doing something wildly bigger than that. And where does it grant you that in my policy? Please show me so that I can understand. And back and forth. Like, this dude tried calling me 10 times in a single day. He did not want to put things in writing, which is major red flags. Like, if you cannot have your communication kept in writing so everyone's on the same page and you have a paper trail, like, they can be real bullies on the phone. So he finally put things in writing and basically said, hey, this is just how we do it. Like, it's not in your policy. It's how we do it. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get to just make that up. Like, you are bound by my policy terms, just like I am. And so I ran it up the ladder, ran it up multiple ladders. And long story short, I've had 3 humans with my insurance put these things in writing that it's not in my policy. It's just how they do it. And you can't do that. So my attorney wrote them a letter, said you can't do that, and now you have a demand for payment. I haven't heard from my attorney to see if they've responded. They are basically running out of time. They have 4 more days. So we'll see what happens, but legitimately, there's nothing in my contract of my policy that says that they can do these things. And they're trying to. They're trying to take my Tahoes, what they're trying to do. And there is no like verbatim language, anything in my policy that says they can. So take away this, that in business, it's very, very important to keep good records. It's very, very important to discuss things in email and ask a bajillion questions if you don't understand. And like, I just think that that's something that doesn't get spoken to about a lot. Even like from a logistical standpoint or a production standpoint of your business, having it all written out. So I mentioned in either last week's episode or the week before that I was not going to be rehiring for an assistant. I really am like dropping all the balls right now. And it's because I don't have an assistant. And I'm hoping that once we get out of some of this busy with roofing that I can stop doing that. But right now, that's just where we are. So the thing that I can do, the thing that I can control is hiring somebody to clean and organize my warehouse, which has to stay client facing. Like, I have people coming in all the time and it is in disarray. It is like the floors are disgusting. The roly-polies are finding their way in. Like, it's just, it's a lot. So I can hire that because I have processes in place, like very specific processes in place on how to clean and how to organize and where things live. And while I have some of that set up for an assistant, the thing that I can have off my plate tomorrow is somebody to do those things. And the person I'm bringing into that role will have a step-by-step checklist on what my expectations are for performing those tasks. And you can do that for other roles. You can do that for your accounting and your bookkeeping. You can do that for your lawyers. You can do that for any other role that is helping you, a virtual assistant, some kind of a marketing person. Like, you can have all of this in writing so that you can stay on the same page with the human that you are bringing in. You're bringing into the mix. I have SOPs, standard operating practices, standard operating procedures. I have them for our roofing business, for our sales team, because I like things turned into me a very specific way. And I want you to do them a very specific way so my job is easier. Like, I also don't like to repeat myself 2 times. Like, that happened today where I communicated something to one of our salespeople, and then 6 hours later, I got asked the same question because they weren't listening to me. And that irks me. And it's not the first time. And I have said, hey, listen, I don't like to repeat myself. But please pay attention if I'm communicating, because it's important. I'm not just talking fluff just to talk fluff to you. So all that to say, if you find yourself with problems for whatever reason, the mud is being slung at you for whatever reason, I just encourage you, before that happens, even though you won't be able to predict it, before that happens, take good notes. Ask questions, get things in writing for every aspect of your business so that you understand when that mud slings, you know how to proceed. You know that if this were to happen, you're going to do this. Now, you're not going to be able to have every scenario figured out. I did not have this audit thing, like, that was not on my radar, and I thought I was prepared the first time, and then I thought I was prepared the second time, but then they changed the game, changed the rules, weren't playing the same, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know how to say this any more clearly. Like, 10 emails and we're still talking about the same thing, and I am like trying not to use all caps, but like, how do I keep saying the same thing that you're not, like, you're reading my email. So are you not understanding the words that you're reading? Like, I'm so confused. And so, yeah, my very last email that said, if this isn't satisfactory, please let me speak to your manager or your boss or whomever, because I don't know how to say this again any differently than I've said it the 9 times prior. So take good notes, ask a bajillion questions, keep things in writing, work out your processes so that when the mud slings, you have a game plan, or at least some kind of a checklist or a bullet point or an outline of what to do, because it's going to happen. As you grow a business, it's going to open up things that you didn't ever anticipate it opening. And I don't think people talk about it enough. Not saying to be discouraging or, to be like, oh, business is hard. Business is hard. Let's be real. Business is hard. It's probably harder than a majority of things in life, which is why not everybody chooses to run a business, and why not everybody is good at running a business. Like, you could be a rock star at marketing, but really suck at the logistics and production of things, or vice versa. Or maybe you're gifted in all of those things and everything's hunky-dory and you haven't had mud slung at you. I pray that you don't, honestly. I pray that you do not have mud slung at you unexpectedly. But in case it does, I hope you're prepared. So I hope this little audio pep talk gives you like some gumption to get things figured out in writing somewhere so that you have a plan, or sort of a plan, when the mud slings your direction. So, yeah. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for listening. I am going to go get ready for Colorado, but I'll be back before you know it next week with another episode. Thanks for listening. I so appreciate you. And like my 3-year-old self said, that is all for this week. Friendly reminder to rate and review my show wherever you are listening. And last but not least, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me an audio message at bossgirlcreative.com/speak. I would love to hear your takeaways, ideas for upcoming episode topics, and your feedback. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this one.